You're now listening to Type 88 on Maker Park Radio with Dave Noodles. Don't stop dreaming.
Yeah. What up? Yo, thank you all for tuning in to Type 88. It's your boy Dave Noodles. This is episode 64. We are rocking and rolling. Almost on our 3-year anniversary here. Shout out to Maker Park Radio for this lovely home. For people to share their stories, their dreams, their goals. Speaking of someone who has dreams and goals and who's living them right now. This guy, I came across him when I was DJing the Have a Heart NY event at CSI. And I was like, okay, let's see who they got here. And then I heard a hip-hop beat. And then I heard a J. Cole beat. And I was like, is this guy really going to get on this what was the name of the beat?
It was Fire Squad.
Fire Squad. I was like, is he really? He's getting on Fire Squad? Yo, and he blew the roof off and took home the prize. And ever since then, I've been seeing him all over. It's great to have him here. Thank you for sitting down with us. We got the one and only 833 in the building. What up, man?
Thank you for having me, Dave. Oh, wow, it's my first interview.
No worries. You got to start somewhere. And a lot of people start here. So before you get to Sway, sometimes it's with Dave. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what even 833 stands for.
Well, it has 3 meanings. Number 1, it's my birthday. So number 2, when you add them together, 8, 3, and 3, you get 14. And that's when I started writing heavily, poetry and stuff like that. And the last meaning, it's an angel number. Basically means to strive for success, pretty much. So that's what awesome. I go by, and that's sort of my inspiration. So
that's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
So you said 8 plus 3 plus 3 equals 14. Mm-hmm. That's when you got into music.
Yeah. Did
you find music? Did music find you? How did you guys meet?
We just blindly met each other. No, I always liked hip hop. But yeah, it was actually poetry first. I started taking it seriously with similes, metaphors, and stuff like that. So that's what really kind of started it. And then a lot of the cats around the time was 2016, 2015, right? I didn't really mess with them like that. So I used to try to compete, even though I was nobody, But but yeah, pretty much it found me. I found hip-hop, so I'm just going with it right now. It's a dream.
That's real, bro. I'm all about dreams. Like me, I remember my first hip-hop album. It was Naughty by Nature. I was 8 years old, and I got the Columbia House. I don't even know if you know about this.
Hell no.
There used to be pamphlets in the newspaper, and it was the name of the company was Columbia House. It's not an ad for them, but they would literally say, hey, pick 8 CDs for a penny, and we will mail you them. And I was like, and it was no credit card needed. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, oh, I want the new Aladdin soundtrack, and I want the new Michael Jackson, Dangerous, and I want the new Whitney Houston. And then I was like, I don't even know a lot of these people, but I've heard their names, so let me pick this one, and let me pick this one. And I remember I picked Naughty by Nature because it just looked, I was like, whoa, this looks a little, and then I remember I got that album, and I would play it in my family's living room. And back then, the CD players, everything looked like a freaking robot. Everything was so big. And the speakers were literally up to here.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because everything was just so big back then. In terms, you couldn't get a Bose speaker or a little beat pill or whatever that would fill the room. So that was, you got an OPP, it had that on it.
Yeah.
And, bro, there was a skit on there. I was not ready for it. Bro, there was a lot of violence in one of those skits and a lot of gunshots. And I remember just being 7 or 8 years old, and those were the first gunshots I've ever heard. Clearly, it wasn't that bad, but for me, it's 7. I was like, oh man, what? And that was just like, that was my first hip hop album.
Yeah, and then you became a gangster.
Could you remember the first hip hop album that you really got into, that really inspired you?
Well, that inspired me had to be Illmatic by Nas. That album really shaped my writing style a lot. He's my favorite like MC of all time. Him and Kendrick, they're like tied for that spot right there. But yeah, Illmatic is, oh my god. I have 2 vinyls of Illmatic, one to frame and one I like to play. So
That's sick.
that album really inspired me a lot, especially One Love. That track by Nas, One Love.
That whole album, man.
Yes. Oh my god, such a good album.
9, what is it? 9 records, 9 songs on there.
I believe there's 10.
10.
Yeah.
Just,
so good.
Just that album it's a special album,
Mhm.
and you could really feel his hunger.
Yeah.
And
19 years old at the time.
he's been true since that day, man, and he's kept
Facts.
it real, and it's crazy. Just the essence of the beats and
Mhm.
the selection of the beats, it just
Yeah.
it captures the sound
Yeah.
when it came out, and I
And it
think
stood out for its time. too,
Yeah.
So
that's a
yeah,
great album.
it
I think,
really is.
and that's cool to when you were 14 hearing that. It probably came out when you weren't even born.
Yeah.
So that a lot of people kind of just are like, okay, well, what's on the top Spotify 100? Let me listen to these things a little bit more. Well,
Yeah.
and that's pretty normal. Like, that's kind of the radio of today.
Yeah, there was a time where I just strictly listened to like Biggie and stuff like that. Like for like a long time, I was like, oh, I don't like Lil Pump. But then I
Yeah,
just grew
yeah.
to like appreciate all kinds of music. It's just a genre. So yeah.
I really like that about hip hop, because in terms of just influence on culture, I don't know what's more influential, because like if you think about it, like Jay-Z and Kanye are part of hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
and they're probably the 2 most influential even
Artists out
pop
now.
artists.
Mm-hmm.
Like hip hop is its own, it's like one of the biggest things out there. And like I'm the same way. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I'm like, you know what? Everyone has a lane, and that's what's cool about hip hop.
Mhm.
There's all these lanes. Like you can go
Yeah.
to a different neighborhood and you could get a Domino's, or you could go to like Giovanni's on Richmond Avenue,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
get the real stuff. So same with hip hop. You could get kind of fast food,
Mm-hmm.
that may quickly fill you, or you could get something that that sticks with you, and I think that's really subjective to whoever's listening.
Exactly.
Right? So
yeah.
so it's cool. Like there's so many, and especially with YouTube, like you don't need to buy an album to be able to like dig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could just find something, and then and then there's things that kind of suggest stuff like, oh, check out this. But then it's like if you're like, yo, I want to listen to Common, you could
Easily look it
you could
up.
spend a whole weekend just chilling and just
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
That's great, bro. And so the title of this episode is Student of the Game.
Mm-hmm.
How did you even like start, how did you become a student of the game? Because I feel like that's such an important thing in life, no matter how old we get, to keep learning, no matter how far we make it, to keep evolving, to keep to change with the times, but still, stay true to our roots.
Yeah, it's all about respect. You got to know who started it and where it came from, Just growing up, I always respected every artist that was out, and I just did my research before I said anything. So, and once I started getting a passion for music, I just started picking up the books, vocabularies, getting all that up, making sure things made sense, comparing things and just getting my mind right, It's all about respecting. So that's where I stand with that.
Now that's powerful, man, because knowing our history, I believe, could help us make history, and
Exactly.
know what came before us, I think is very important. And that's great for you to be, in the new era of hip hop in terms of when you started, but to still, keep an open mind to different genres and subgenres, but then, pay homage to the Nas's,
Yeah.
and who are some other inspirations that you guys have?
There's a lot. All right. So number one, Nas, of course, and Kendrick's number two, and that's just for the whole storytelling and like eerie feeling aspect of music. You know, I go to him when I just need to really get taken away from everything that's around. B.I.G., of course, gotta have B.I.G. in there for storytelling aspects, and he's somebody that I can relate to in a sense. You know, Juicy made me cry like a few times. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That song is everything. It's probably one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time.
Yeah, just songs like Me and My B, like just a bunch of songs. Like he just makes classic music, and he's somebody that I really look up to. J. Cole, for the longevity aspect. You know, he's been around for so long, and he's just somebody that I would be comfortable spinning around if I was just sitting next to him. Like I wouldn't really be intimidated as much. He just has that like uncle dad kind of feeling. You know, he's cool. Like I love J. Cole. The Fugees, Lauryn Hill, love them. And then you can even throw Keisha Cole in there. You can throw Mary J. Blige in there. And of course, Meth. You know, everybody. Gotta throw everybody in there. Who else? Joey Badass. Love Joey Badass. I even like Lil Uzi Vert. You know what I mean? Not heavy like that, but I respect him. So, you know, A$AP Rocky for the fashion aspect, you know. I love A$AP Rocky. His fashion statement is just unreal. Tyler, the Creator, for creativity, because he just does things that other people don't do. So that's pretty much it. Ski Master, Slump God. X, you know, I liked X a lot because he said what other people didn't want to say or wanted to say but didn't have the courage to say, you know. Especially with the whole, God rest him. The whole depression and anxiety topic, you know. So a lot of people go through that, and he wasn't afraid to sit there and tackle that topic and talk about that. So that's why I have a lot of respect for him too.
Yeah, man. I was like, damn. When that I was like, yo, he was just starting.
Yeah, I idolized him a lot. Like when I first started writing. Yeah, but he's great. He's great. Who else? There's a lot. There's a lot. Foxy Brown. There's a lot. There's just a lot of people that I looked up to. Drake. I see him right on the screen. Can't forget about him. He has made so many hits since I was like throughout my whole childhood. Like, yo, that versatility and like the whole longevity aspect that he has to him is just unreal. Like, so many timeless records. So I respect his style a lot.
He brings it.
He can make somebody. So
yeah,
he's very special. So those are the guys I looked up to. I still look up to.
That's excellent, bro.
Yeah.
And
wait, Jay-Z. You can't forget about Jay-Z.
Yeah. He's kind of just like understood that he's on that list.
And Kanye, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just a lot. It's just a lot.
So you know, you mentioned a lot of MCs that, you know, maybe that some people would consider old school. Well, what's your outlook on the, you know, the new school? I know you kind of mentioned a little bit, but what's kind of your outlook on the new school hip hop?
My thing is everybody's just trying to get paid. That's really it. Everybody wants to make an impact and stay. You know what I mean? I can't really sit there and be like, oh, this person's trash or that person's trash, because not everybody can rap like this person or that person, you know? So it's like, if you want to make the music that you make, go ahead. That's you. I'm going to do me. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really sit there and be like, oh, new school's trash. You know what I mean? I'm new school. I can do any type of style of music if I wanted to, but I just prefer to stick to what I'm good at, dominantly. But, new school rappers, they got it going on. Like, they're popping on the radios. Like, you turn on the radio, you hear DaBaby, you hear Lil Baby. Like, they're doing their thing, so I can't really get mad at them. You know what I mean? I don't have any disliking towards new school rappers.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's like food. You know, it's like, what kind of food do you want to eat today? Yeah. And there's plenty of options, and then some stuff is good for some people, some stuff isn't. And you know, so that's real. I respect that, and I agree. You know, I could bump Travis. I could bump, you know, I could bump Jada, and then I could bump. I could bump. I haven't played too much Lil Pump, but I could play a lot of X. Yeah. And then I could play some Snoop, and I could play some M.
That's literally me. But my thing is, It's like if you're making music, make music because you have a genuine passion for it. Don't sit there and make music because your friend's making music and it's fun. You know what I mean? Like my thing is, don't pick up a mic if you don't have a story to tell. You know what I mean? Like I've been through a lot, so instead of me running to certain things like a substance or whatever, I run to music. That's just how it's always been. Same thing from when I was little. I would always do creative writing and always would make graphic designs and stuff like that. So it's like I just don't like the new rappers who rap just to rap without a purpose, because you're not even thinking about your future. You're sitting here rapping. You're going to pop now. You know what I mean? You can pop and you can last for, a good 6 or 7 months or whatever. But what's going to happen 2 years from now? What's going to happen when you get a deal and they want you to make an album? You know what I mean? You can't keep repeating the same record that you're repeating, because over time that's going to get, what's that word? It's going to get played out. You know what I mean? It's going to get repetitive. There we go. It's like, I just feel like if you don't like to rap, don't rap. You know what I mean? So that's just where I stand with that. That's it.
I feel you. And it's the world we live in is cool because we could kind of all, download. We could all download the Spotify app.
Mm-hmm.
We could all download SoundCloud, and they even have a record button that you could record live into SoundCloud. So like, the playing field has kind of opened, but I think the real stuff shines through no matter what. No matter how many rappers are on there. So it's like, all right, it's like in life. Like everyone kind of has a purpose, and I think we have to go through things to figure out what's for us. And even me, like I grew up rapping a lot, and then it was one of the biggest stepping stones in my life to get to where I am. And I still dabble in terms of like motivational audio things, and hip hop's always with me. I teach it at different schools and writing poetry and stuff like that. So it's with me forever, and I love it. And it's like a big part of me, but it's cool the way I really like how the internet is and social media, even though it's a tool, you could use a tool for good or for bad.
It's toxic, but it's great at the same time.
And it's like, I think just finding balance through it all, I think to me, too much anything is too much, I feel, like if you're going, I haven't ate fast food. It's going on almost 8 months now in a row.
I just eat fast food like an hour or two ago.
So to me, it's like, I kind of like the real stuff. But then there was a time in my life where I was getting a lot of fast food, and it was working for me at the time. Now I'm just kind of on a streak where I'm like, all right, 8 months, let's turn it to 9, let's turn it to 10.
Yeah.
And
it's dedication.
Yeah, and I feel like that brings it back to just whatever you're doing. I respect what you're saying. Like if you really want to rap, like
take it seriously.
Take it serious and make it something.
Sacrifice.
How much time would you say you put a week into your craft?
Literally every she knows. I'm nonstop writing, trying to keep busy. I'll be at work, I'll go to the bathroom, and I'll sit there, type something real quick. You know what I mean? There was one time I was at work, and I took like a little piece of paper and like wrote a little something on there. But I spend a lot of time when it comes to my music. If it's not good, it's not getting heard. You know what I mean? I take my craft very seriously, because when I die, I want people to look at my thing as an art. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put out something just to put out something because I haven't put out something in a while.
Real talk. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be heard, it's because I'm happy with it and because I know that it's going to slap. So, like, for instance, my last song, Misunderstood, I wrote that song for almost 2 months. And I took the time to, like, change lyrics and find better vocabulary, better lines that made sense and that hit personally. And, I went into the studio. And things are, it's a little rough right now. I only get an hour and 30. But for the hour and 30 that I had, I made a song that majority who listened to it appreciates it and loves it. So
that's great.
They were playing my track in school yesterday.
Oh, sick.
It's so funny.
What school are you in?
I moved to Jersey.
Okay.
Because things were getting a little rough out here. You already know how that goes.
Yeah.
Especially around certain parts of Staten Island. But I moved to Jersey, and it's a different environment. It's way different types of people, and I didn't really think that they would appreciate the type of person that I was up until I started getting more comfortable there. So, no hate to Jersey. It's just a pretty good place to live at, for the most part. But everywhere you go is going to be shit until you make it good. So,
That's real, bro.
yeah.
And New York is its own beast.
Oh, yeah.
And
We're slept on out here, but like we go crazy out here, and that's not a good thing. But yeah, Staten Island is crazy. It is.
there's a flavor to New York that you just can't match anywhere. And
Nowhere.
people fly from all over to just be here for a day.
Exactly.
And for me, I think it goes back to balance. Like, I've stepped out of here, and I've learned so much too. Like by going to Cali, going to Colorado, going to Atlanta, going to Orlando. Like I've been blessed to go on tours with G-Eazy and Tory Lanez, and like go to more cities that I could count. And I think it brings back the appreciation of what you have if you kind of step away for a little bit and like, all right, let me plant some seeds here to grow some trees over here, and that's real. And I agree with you in terms of what you say. It's not going to be comfortable until you make it or something like that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, man.
So how did they even get the record? The people in the high school. Did they like leak it? Did someone find the tape on the computer on the iMac and then
bro? Oh my god, bro! I can laugh about it now, but last week was one of the worst times, bro. Releasing that song was can I curse? Oh,
yeah.
It was a bitch. Like,
really,
oh my god, man! Some dude from a different country, he decided to copyright something that wasn't his. I'm using it for fair use for now. You know what I mean? And once I get exposure and bread, I'm gonna purchase the beats. But he copyrighted something that wasn't his on SoundCloud, because you can get away with anything on SoundCloud pretty much. And then I was having problems. I tried to upload it there, and it wouldn't let me upload. And the people who listened to me, they were like, "Yo, where is it? I'm waiting." And I was just like, "Oh man, I can't get this up today." And then I tried YouTube, and it was an MP4. They don't take MP4s, so I was like, "Oh shit." So then I was screaming. I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh man, God help me, please." So I went to work, and I was just stressed out the whole time. I kept running to the bathroom trying to figure out. That's what I do. If I'm not talking to her at work, I'm writing, or I'm trying to figure out something. So I went into the bathroom, and I was like, "Yo, God help me. How do I figure this out?" So long story short, when I got home, I did the science. I figured everything out, and then the next day, I uploaded it at the same time, and it did pretty good, because I'm not huge, you know what I mean, yet, but for the amount of people that follow me, like, I get a lot of support, so I'm very thankful for that.
Great.
So yeah, they heard it on YouTube. That's where you can find most of my music, on YouTube. So had a quick plug,
No, of course, yeah. That's the whole point of this episode. I want people to tune in here, and that's awesome, man. It's definitely there's so many ways to get beats and stuff, so I understand that. So so you worked it all out.
Yeah, it was a very good beat. You heard the song.
Yeah.
It was a very good beat. I fell in love with it as soon as I heard it, and I was like, "Oh man, I gotta write to this." I told my sister, I was like, "Yo, listen to this right now." She was like, "Yo, that's hot." And I was like, "I already got the first few lines written." And that song basically is just, I was explaining this to my friends, it's just paranoia that I go through. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go too into detail, but where I say imagine, imagine, imagine at the beginning of the song, not literally, but that basically sets up my mindset throughout the rest of the song. So you'll hear me say, for instance, "My bitch is a model." You know what I mean? I'll say random things like that. That's just me addressing nobody. It's just a mind state of paranoia, because in all reality, nobody really has issues with me. I just get insecure about certain things. I'm misunderstood in that aspect. So yeah, that song was just well written in my opinion, and I had a very good time recording that. And I put my foot and ass into that song, man. And it's doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. It's getting a lot of support. So
that's great,
I'm
man.
happy.
That's good. Maybe by the end of the song you'll be somewhat understood. Nah, I think there's always this misunderstood vibe, but I think that's good, because I think it's people trying to understand, or it's like, "Oh, what's this all about?" And I think having that allure is good too,
Yeah,
And
because I'm sorry, I didn't mean
no,
to cut
no,
you
no,
off.
you're perfect.
Because people were like, "Oh, I thought this meant this, and I thought this meant that." My teacher was in class. It was like a genius episode. I was breaking down my lyrics, and my teacher was like, "Oh, I interpreted it this way." That's the beauty of my music. Like, I want people to listen to my music and really, not even. I want them to hear it. You know what I mean? I want them to just feel my pain and feel my words, because I say a lot of impactful things. For a start, you know, I only have 3 songs out, and every one of them has a deep message to them. Every one of them tells a deep story. So it's like, I want people to listen to my sound and just really like think about it after, and have a conversation with themselves or whoever, their dog, cat, whatever. Just respect my craft. That's basically it. Respect my pen, you know, because I put a lot of time into what I do, and I take it very seriously, because I don't see myself doing anything else, to be honest. Like, I don't really want to go to college, and I mean, obviously you got to have a backup, because rap is not guaranteed, and I'm smart enough to know that. But yeah, I just put my soul into it, because you never know where it could take you. There's kids who are saying beep boop bop on a beat and getting famous in one day. So imagine me saying what I say and then I get famous. You never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just move silent. Go about my business, and I just keep working. And another thing is, I don't let anybody know my moves. You know, that's one thing, because there's a lot of haters. You know, and that's why I don't really get too much of that so far. So God bless on that. So it's a matter of being silent, being a silent killer, you know?
That's excellent, bro. Yeah. And it's great. I've seen the progression just from that Have a Heart NY event, which was July.
Yeah, I was listening to that song. I was listening to that song, and I was like, damn, I changed a lot. Because it was good. It won me the show, but like, looking at it now, I could be like, I could do better, you know?
That's good. I think that's I'm all about growing, and I feel, I've been saying lately, if you're not growing, you're dying, like straight up. And I feel that way that you feel about your past stuff. It's like, oh, that was me just 6 months ago. Look how far
Yeah.
I've come. And I feel like that's what life is, and it's
Yeah.
just constantly, it's growing, it's change, it's innovating, and it's like, it's a beautiful thing to just
Yeah.
look back even a few months and be like, what?
Yeah.
I was just using this mic, and now it's like,
Insane.
now I'm in the
Exactly.
studio with Intel. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Or
yeah.
something.
Shout out to Intel, bro. He's a mentor for me. Honestly, like, I've known him, for the time that I've known him, he's taught me a lot, whether it be science to certain things, and like morals, and hip hop morals. And he's well educated, as you know, Pops. You know everything about that.
Yeah.
Second generation of Wu. Like, he's just well educated on a lot of things. And I was actually in the booth with him last night, in the studio with him, and I was recording a little something. Yeah, he was just teaching me a lot. He was teaching me a lot, and he gave me some homework to do, so a few songs to look at, and I'm on the process of doing that. So he's a very good person. He's very chill, down to earth to meet. So shout out to Intel.
Shout
That's my
out to
guy.
him. I know you're a silent killer, but what's a lesson that you've learned coming up that you would share with someone starting in the rap game?
Be yourself. You know what I mean? I've only been doing this seriously for about a few months, but just be yourself. You know what I mean? That's the best thing I could say to you. Don't sit there and try to imitate this person and that person, because they made it. Doesn't mean that you are. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I am. You know what I mean? But be yourself, okay? Like, man, I feel like the misconception of rap is that you gotta follow the leader, and that's just not true, you know? Like, it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, if you want to rap with your heart, That's pretty much it. So just be yourself and educate yourself. Pick up a book, read, study. You know what I mean? Even if you're writing basic lines, it doesn't matter. As long as you make sense about what you're talking about, people are going to respect you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not saying you got to rap like Nas or you got to rap like Travis Scott, but rap like you. Be the first you. Don't be the next this person. Be the first you. Inspire somebody because you worked for it, not because you're imitating somebody else. So I feel like that's the misconception of hip hop. You gotta sit there and follow everybody. It's not the way for me, you know.
That's great.
And
bro.
it's okay to draw like comparisons and like take inspiration from somebody, but if you're just flat out imitating, it's really just not gonna help your case. Because then you'll see, because everybody's real. Everybody's gonna be like, that's shit. You're trying to copy Roddy Ricch, or you're trying to copy this person and that person. You're a fake this. Be the first you. You want people to listen to your shit and be like, yo, I've never heard that before. That's different. That's ill, bro. And also, another thing is take constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Don't sit there and get offended if somebody says it's trash. Don't sit there and get offended if somebody says it could be better. You know what I mean? Take constructive criticism, because you're going to get a lot of that when you make it. If you put out an album and if it's not good, you're going to get told that it's not good. You know what I mean? If you put out an album and it's great, it's going to be great. And you're going to want to work to make it better than the last one. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like take constructive criticism. Don't let people jack your shine, and just be yourself.
That's great, man. I totally feel that. It's great to hear that these things you're saying. I wouldn't really expect it kind of from someone your age. I didn't mean to stereotype you.
No, I don't take offense to that.
It's good that you have
Yeah,
you're very aware of yourself. Not that I would think someone of your age wouldn't know themselves, but it's cool to really see that you have a maturity about you, and I think that's going to be, and your willingness to learn, and your willingness to, to study the greats, and to listen to someone like an Intel, and know that, okay, this guy's been doing it for 11 years. Look where he is, and not be like, oh, well, okay, he's not Method Man, so I'm not going to listen. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, people are so picky, and they feel like maybe they're entitled to get, someone like Meth to even talk to them, and it's like, no, like, this is a journey. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people see the 59th, 100th step before the 5th step. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know, And meanwhile, they're not seeing that what's right in front of their eyes is something that could be cherished, and that could be, really savored, and be like, and I think that's really great that you could, you could see that, like, yo, this guy's and he's a beast, bro.
Who, Intel?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's a beast. So he's one of my favorite MCs.
Yeah,
and
he's very good at
on
what
the
he
island,
does.
he's probably
nasty.
one of my favorite MCs,
He's
without
nasty.
a doubt. That's an easy choice.
Like, I got in the booth with him, and I was just like, damn, I got a little nervous, because then Power was in there too, and I was like, oh man, I hope I could compete. So I laid down the verse. But yeah, Intel, he's very smart, and that name fits him very well, because he's very smart, and he knows what he's talking about. Since I've known him, he's taught me a lot, like I said, and I'm grateful to have him in my life as like a mentor. You know what I mean? He's a very cool person. So shout out to Intel again.
Shout out to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are some MCs locally that you've been digging, or you've been vibing with?
Locally, as in like region wise?
I would just say even within the island to Jersey.
Within the island to Jersey. Besides like them, like the second generation of Wu, like not too many cats. Not too many cats. But can I say like Joey Badass and stuff like that? Or is that
I would say literally someone, like someone that maybe performed that night when we were.
The
like,
Truth. Yeah, the Truth. I can't forget about him. Yeah, the Truth. He's nasty and he needs to be heard. He's one person that needs to be heard. Like, if you listen to his snippets or even his old stuff, whatever the case may be, he needs to be heard. Like, he has a message and he's ready to kick the fucking game's ass. Like, he's sick at what he does. Like,
he's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the show with him too on the 1st, so I'm gonna be performing. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But he's nasty at what he does, and like he came up to me and he was like, I respect you. He's like, I'm out of all people. Well, I'm gonna keep that between us. That's our little conversation. But yeah, he's just cool. He respects me, and I respect him and his music, and he respects my music. So we have a pretty good friendship. But besides the friendship stuff, like, he's somebody that I would, like, want to compete with, like, in a fun way, of course.
Word.
I can't touch him yet, but like one day, you never know. So I'm still learning. I'm still only 16, so I'm still learning.
Word.
Yeah.
I gotta put you on then, because there's a bunch, bro. That I really rock with. I don't know if you know Eddie I.
Eddie I? Nah. That's no diss to him, but
he's probably one of my favorite artists,
Mm.
like straight up, and that's like up there with like Kanye,
Mm.
Halsey,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Eminem,
Okay.
like that. Bro, the music that this young man is putting out, bro, it's not too long before
He blows up.
what he's done locally in terms of just the vibe that you get when you're at his show. And like, I've seen him since he was your age, 16, and now he's 21.
Wow.
And I remember putting one of his songs on one of the Stereotype mixtapes
Mm.
to the music he's putting out now. I played one of the songs at the end of the set. I admit it.
Oh, yeah, that's
Bro,
what
he is just, and he's just growing by the month. And I'm just so, like, his album, I'm like waiting for. And it's
Yeah.
very rare that I like, if I know an album's coming out at midnight, I will wait, not sleep until I hear it.
That's how I am with like a Kendrick. But
Bro,
much love to
he's
him.
fire,
See
bro.
what happens, you know?
Bro, I've grown up with my friend Paul. Literally, I've known him since I was 8.
Wow.
He's been rapping since we started rapping together when we were 14.
Mm.
He's still rapping now. He's toured the country with Wu-Tang affiliates, like Australia, all over the world.
Yeah, that's fat.
And he's ridiculous. His the way you talk about, like, you know what, I was thinking about this song and I was putting it together. He's the same way. And like how much he cares about lyrics, bro. I'll put you on to him. He's fire.
Yeah.
Tyrone Briggs.
Oh yeah, I've met him before. Yeah.
He's got recognition, and a lot of people have heard his music who probably don't even know it was him.
Mm.
His songs have been on commercials and
Yeah,
like
I've seen that.
WWE. And
Yeah, I saw that.
he has a song that they used for the app and different things. And bro, he has songs that have millions of streams.
That's
And,
good, man. Good for him.
And he could really put together like a hip hop pop record without it sounding whack.
Mm.
Like it could literally touch on the vibe that you need with still keeping true to the form.
Mm.
And he's rare, and he's super talented. I don't know if you know Frank Nitti.
Nah, I've never heard of him.
Oh, that's my dude, bro. That's my dude. He's just straight up like man of God, like dad, but bro just puts out quality music, and he's just a solid human.
That's the thing. If you got a passion for it, just go for it. Don't wait for anything
Yeah.
to come to you. I was like that at one point. I always thought that God was just gonna hand. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're not believe in God.
Oh, I
but-
do.
Oh, okay, good. I always just assumed that God would give me studio time and give me lyrics. You know what I mean? But I realized like I had to work for that shit. You know? And my
Of
aunt,
course.
she was helping me, putting me into studios and stuff like that. So grateful for, huh?
I think she's trying to get in. Oh no, never mind. No, that's real, man, and that's
But-
just like a metaphor of life. Like, you really got to work. Like I've been saying this lately, like, work for it and make it work.
Mm.
You know, like if you just are hoping and that's the only work you're doing,
It's not gonna.
there
come
are
out.
so many people that are gonna just fly by you because they've
Mhm.
just outworked you, regardless of the talent.
Yeah, then I just got this lick of motivation to just be better, be a better version of myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to work for this. I'm going to try. Then my aunt was like, hey, let's go to the studio. You know, that was around the same time as the talent show thing or whatever.
Mhm.
So, yeah, those two things boosted my summer. And it was a pretty good summer for me. You know, I made a lot of music that I didn't put out because I wasn't a big fan. But in the end, it was my beginning stages of going to the studio. So I can't really be mad at that. But
That's
now,
great.
like when I get into the studio, I'm like focused and I'm ready to go, you know, as opposed to a few months ago where I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it's like you gotta work for everything. Everything's a learning process. You're not gonna get it in one shot. So I learned that.
That's real. I've been saying this lately, ma'am. It's like, I think sometimes, even me, I've been trained to just be like, oh, well, you know, it's just all got to be good. And then if it's not good, it's just not good. And then what I've been realizing, it's like almost every time that it's not good, is usually the lesson that I'm learning to make it good. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I'm in that not good moment and I'm like, oh man, it's not good. It's not good. What's going on? It's not good. How come it's not good? And then I'm like, but that's the moment where I start figuring it out and I start puzzling it together, and then these new ideas start hitting me.
Everything starts clicking.
And then I start puzzling, you know what I mean? Like that pain. It's kind of like a metaphor of like when we work out, like our bodies are hurting. It's basically, I'm seeing it. It's the same thing in life. Like if we're dealing with some pain and it's like, why me? But then literally it's almost like clockwork that you wake up the next day stronger. You don't wake up weaker. You know what I mean? And life just doesn't end because it gets hard. It's not like, oh, it's hard, it's over.
Yeah.
You don't just not wake up now. There are instances where people do that, but like, right? Every hard day that you've been through, have you woke up the next day?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pretty
So we're
much.
blessed. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like, it's crazy. I just think about that. And like, so now when I'm dealing with pain, it's tough because I'm dealing with the pain. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to tell myself, you know what? Don't worry.
It's going to get better in
You're
time.
going to get through it. Like,
Time heals everything. Everything takes time.
that's
Time
real.
heals all wounds. It's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
No other way around it. I mean, it sucks, but it's just the way it goes. That's life, you know?
Yeah.
And I've learned that throughout my childhood, and I'm still learning that now, unfortunately and fortunately. So everything takes
just
time.
It's only going to continue.
Just
the learning.
find good outlets. That's the best thing I can say to whoever's watching this, whether it be one person or a million people. Find a better outlet. Don't resort to the things that's gonna ruin your life. You know what I mean? Whether if you want to do pottery, if you want to do whatever, just resort to the right things. Don't let the devil take control of you.
That's real. My friend Mig said it. He's like, distract yourself from being distracted. So it was like, get so caught up in what matters to you that you can't be distracted. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think when you found, you keep saying the word purpose and you keep saying what you're all about. And I think once you find those things, hold on to them so tight, because it's like, do you know how many times that you're probably going to prevent yourself from getting in trouble? Because you're so distracted in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, so distraction could be a good thing if you're distracted by the thing that matters to you, that you know is your purpose.
That's real.
You know,
Exactly.
and I think my friend Stefan says it, who runs an anti-bullying group. He grew up bullied, and he said by finding his purpose, which was music, he was able to find people who were also passionate about music. And then when you're hanging out with people that are on the same path as you, I want to help you. You want to help me.
Yeah,
We're
that's how
we
it
all
is
know
right
how
now.
it is. It's not like, what are you doing, bro? You don't make any sense.
That's
You know what
really
I mean?
how it is right now. I don't really kick it with too many people. I have my little friend group, but I have a few friends that are out of my friend group and who make music and stuff. Well, so we got some things in the books, but we're just trying to help each other grow. Same thing
real.
for family. Like I work with my cousin Slime a lot. We put out 2 tracks together, and they're a classic amongst our family. So I have a lot of fun doing that. You just got to associate with the right people. Don't let people in your group who are snakes, because if you let snakes in your group, they're going to poison you. They're
Yep.
going to try to drag you down right with them, because they don't have any drive or ambition. That's another thing. You got to have drive and ambition to succeed. So, and some days I don't have that. I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm this
Of course.
mighty tough, John Cena guy. But like, there are some days where I'm down and that I just don't want to do anything. And it's been like that for a while. I would have writer's block and stuff like that. But then, once you get good things in your life for a few days, and then it starts building up that motivation. For instance, writing, educating myself. That's really how it is.
That's
So,
fire. Yeah, and whatever we do, I'm a firm believer in rest and play. Like just having fun. Like hanging out with your mom, and just like joking.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be work, because I feel like then it's like you're overworked.
Yeah.
Like, go ice skating. You know what I mean? Go to the arcade. Go to Fun Station and not worry about what's happening about work all the time. So you could actually like woosah and just get back in the game.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm huge on rest and sleep. Like whoever's like hashtag team no sleep, I don't know how you do it. Cause me, I make sure I sleep every night. Like I understand staying up late and getting something done. I'm all for that if you're feeling the vibe and you have to catch that magic moment. But I'm also like I'm catching Z's so I could wake up super fresh so I could kill it all day.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocked out. Or I don't wake up at 3 p.m. You know what I mean? Like everyone has a thing that works for them. But to me it's like sleep is key and rest. And like Sunday, you know, is closed on Sunday straight up. Like just church, chilling with my girl, eating, relaxing, the game, you know, some wrestling, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, not like, oh, you know, if I have to do a DJ thing for a school, that's very rare. It's like a blue moon.
I respect that.
You know, like
giving back to the community is another thing too. I respect.
Just that rest is key, bro.
Facts. Gains motivation.
So unfortunately we only got a few minutes left, but the good news is I got some beats in the back pocket, so maybe we could give people a thing or two.
All right.
Before we get going.
Yes, sir.
Maybe before I go, just let people know where they could find the new music and you and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at KR_833. KR_833. That's my Instagram. And on YouTube, I'm just 833. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. Got some heat on there. Ooh, I'm nervous now.
So, I think it's only right maybe drop some bars for him.
Yes, sir.